let us journey back to the very dawn of humanity, where we unfold the timeless tale of Adam and Eve, the first man and woman. When God made the universe, there was no one to cultivate the land, but water would come from beneath the surface to water the ground. Then God took some soil from the ground and formed a man out of it. He breathed life-giving breath into his nostrils, and the man began to live. God planted a garden in Eden in the east, and there he placed the man he had made. In the middle of the garden stood the tree that gives life, and the tree that gives knowledge of what is good and bad. When God placed man in the Garden of Eden to cultivate and guard it, he said to him, "You may eat the fruit of any tree in the garden, except the tree that gives knowledge of what is good and what is bad." God told man that if he ate that fruit, he would die that same day. Then God said, "It is not good for man to live alone. I will make a suitable companion for him." So he took some soil from the ground and formed all the birds and animals. Then he brought them to the man to see what he would name them. That is how the birds and animals got their name. But not one of them was suitable for him. Then God made the man fall into a deep sleep. And while he was sleeping, he took out one of the man's ribs and closed the flesh. He formed a woman out of the rib and brought her to him. Then the man said, "At last, here is one of my own kind, bone taken from my bone and flesh from my flesh." God named her woman because she was taken out of man. This is why a man leaves his father and mother and is united with his wife, and they become one. Now the snake was the most cunning animal that the Lord had made. The snake asked the woman, "Did God tell you not to eat the fruit from any tree in the garden?" She replied, "You may eat the fruit of any tree in the garden, except the tree that is in the middle of it. If we eat it or even touch it, we will die." The snake replied, "That's not true. You will not die." God said that because He knows that when you eat it, you will be like God and know what is good and bad. The woman saw how beautiful the tree was and how good its fruit would be to eat. Then she took the fruit and ate it. Then she gave some of it to her husband, and he also ate it. As soon as they ate the fruit, they were given understanding, and they realized they were naked. They covered themselves with leaves. That evening, they heard the Lord God walking in the garden, and they hid among the trees. But the Lord called out to the man, "Where are you?" He answered, "I heard you in the garden. I was afraid and hid from you because I was naked." "Who told you that you were naked?" God asked. "Did you eat the fruit that I told you not to eat?" The man answered, "The woman you put here with me gave me the fruit, and I ate it." The Lord God asked the woman, "Why did you do this?" She replied, "The snake tricked me into eating it." Then the Lord God said to the snake, You will be punished for this. From now on, you will crawl on your belly and you will eat dust as long as you live. The Lord God punished Adam and Eve and said, "Your children will always be enemies. The ground will be under a curse. You will have to work all your life to make it produce enough food for you." Adam named his wife Eve because she was the mother of all human beings. Then the Lord God said, "Now man has become like one of us and has the knowledge of what is good and what is bad. He must not be allowed to take fruit from the tree that gives life and live forever." So the Lord God sent him out of the Garden of Eden and made him cultivate the soil from which he had been formed. Then at the east side of the garden, the Lord God placed living creatures and a flaming sword which turned in all directions. This was to keep anyone from coming near the tree that gives life.